Hey, good morning, everyone. Hey, Facebook. I wanted to do a Facebook Live this morning. I'm going to start doing these every week, but the subject of this Facebook Live is going to be the power of consistency and how important that is. You know, it's kind of weird. I decided to do this Facebook Live last week on this particular subject, and this morning, one of the things I do in the mornings is I do a morning routine, and I was watching a YouTube video, and it was talking about Michael Phelps. They was interviewing him, and he talked about going up to the Olympics for 5 years. He didn't miss one workout. That's 365 days a year, so he didn't miss one workout. He said if he missed one workout, it would throw him back 2 days. If you want success in your life, you have to find a way to be consistent. Now, you can't be consistent with everything. There's only so many hours in a day. So what my mentors have shared with me is to identify one habit. So start with one habit, whether that's prospecting, whether that's a morning routine, whether that's working out, whatever it is, and then block it in. So for me, I started out with a morning routine. I read a pretty incredible book a few years back called The Miracle Morning, written by Hal Elrod. And he talked about how a morning routine would create a mindset, to get you through the rest of the day. I thought, well, if I'm going to start with something, I'm going to be consistent with something. I want to do something where I start my day off right. So at first I started getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had a very well scripted, morning routine, and I just started doing it. And I started noticing that my mindset had changed. And, I stayed very consistent, because if you're going to create a habit, you have to do it for 66 days. 21 days is not how to create a habit. It's 66 days. And there is scientific research backing that. In fact, 66 days is actually the sweet spot. So you want to stay consistent with that. So I started at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I started being very consistent. Over 66 days, I kept improving it. One of the things I do is something called plan, do, review, and improve. So I'm always looking at so I plan this thing out, and then I review it, and then I improve it all the time. So I'm always trying to make it better. So over time, I've been able to start getting up now at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 4 o'clock. Every single morning I do a 90-minute morning routine, and I've stayed consistent with that now for 3 years. So another thing that I started doing, once you're consistent with one habit, you want to start a new habit. And you got to be consistent. If you miss a day, you need to say, okay, I need to start over. And one of the things I started doing is doing a work block in the morning from 6 to 7:30. And then I go to the gym. Okay, and I've stayed consistent with that now for the last 3 or 4 weeks. It was a struggle in the beginning. But once I hit 66 days, then I can decide whether I want to continue with this habit or decide on a new habit. You should only focus on one habit at a time. And the key to success of all of this is focusing on the process and detaching from the outcome. So let's say you're prospecting, okay, and you're making 20 calls a day. I can remember I did a network marketing deal a few years back. And I said, okay, how am I going to market this? And I decided, well, I'm going to do 10 dials a day, 5 days a week. And I never missed. One of the things that one of my mentors shared with me says, focus on the process and detach from the outcome. I control the process. I don't control the outcome. Okay? So every day at the appointed time, I made 10 dials. And then I went out and did whatever I was going to do that day. The next day I made 10 dials. And I kept doing this. And over 4 weeks, I sponsored 25 people and ended up becoming a sales director in that particular company. That's what consistency will do for you. Again, like working out, another thing. Okay, so if you're working out, so like right now I work out 6 days a week, and it consists of weights. It consists of 30 minutes of cardio. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll work out 2 weeks and they go to the scale and they notice they've gained 2 pounds. Well, you can't control that. But if you stay consistent long enough, that will change, because you're going to plan, do, review, and improve what you're doing. So you're planning it, you're going out and you're doing it, you're reviewing it. Okay, why am I gaining weight? Or why am I not losing weight? Okay, and then you adjust it, and then you go back and improve it. And that's what you need to do. So you stay with that. And you focus on the process of going out and doing the exercise. So I focus on, when I get to the gym, I don't think of anything else. Okay, I do my weights, and I always do 30 minutes of cardio. And for me, I do elliptical and I do stairs. So I'm very, very clear on what I'm going to do when I get there. But 80% of weight loss is nutrition. So you have to get straight on that. So last night I created a meal plan. This way I can stay consistent. So once I've done this for 66 days, then I'll find something else to be consistent with. Another thing that I'm doing is I do 3 videos a week. So I do a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday video every single week. Now I do the videos this week, I do them for next week, so I'm always ahead. But I never miss, I stay consistent. Now it's a long-term play. I'm not going to see results from that for a long time. Now I do get subscribers all the time, my views are going up, but I'm staying extremely consistent with that. So whatever you decide you want to be successful with, whatever your outcome goal is, write it down extremely clearly, and then identify 3 process goals. Never more than 3. There's something called channel capacity where your mind can only handle 3 things at a time. You can only focus on 1 thing at a time, but it can only handle 3. So people that have 20 things they got to do for this particular goal, it's going to be hard to achieve that. It's going to be hard to stay consistent. The power of consistency will build momentum. And once you have momentum, it just continues going. And that's what you got to do. But you got to not focus on the result because you don't really have control over that. You have control over the process. Make sure the process is right. And another thing, when you create your process goals, make sure there's something you can do on your worst day. I remember when Tim Ferriss was talking about when he wrote his first book. He would say, okay, I'm going to write 2 crappy pages a day, 7 days a week. That way he's never got a negative mindset when he doesn't achieve it, because it's easy to write 2 crappy pages a day. So if you're going to start working out or whatever it is, identify what you can do on your worst day. So if you've never worked out before, don't say you're going to work out 6 days a week, 8 hours a day or something, or 3 hours a day or something crazy like that, because you will not achieve that. You can't stay consistent with that. So maybe it's 3 days a week for an hour, and then build up from that. Just like when I did the morning routine, I started at 6 o'clock. Now I've worked it back to 4 o'clock. And I know I go to bed at 8:45. I get up at 4 o'clock. I do that 7 days a week. What that does, it creates a mindset to where when I get into the day, I can conquer the day. Nothing can get in my way because my mind is right. Because I meditate and I pray and I visualize my goals and I do a gratitude journal. And I'll do a future live on exactly what that morning routine looks like. But it's life-changing. If you have never read the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, incredible book. It's just like I talked about last week on my Facebook Live about identifying the lead domino. That's not something I do every now and then. I do that every day. Because then when I'm consistent with that, I'm always focused on the one thing. If I was to do this, everything else would be easier or unnecessary. So today, like I said, find a way to be consistent in whatever you're doing. If you're not getting the results you're wanting, it's because you lack consistency. It's just like Michael Phelps said, if he missed 1 day, it threw him back 2 days. Jerry Seinfeld, they asked him one time at a comedy club, Jerry, how have you become such a great comic? He says, I write comedy every single day. And he said, he's got a calendar. Sorry, he's got a calendar, and every day he writes comedy, he puts a big red X on that day, and he tries to create a chain. Okay, and that's how he became the comic he has become. Most people, they continually break that chain. So sit down today, identify what's the most important habit you can create in your life right now, whatever that is. Maybe it's a morning routine. Maybe it's a workout routine. Maybe it's, prospecting at a certain time of the day. Whatever it is, okay, put that in your calendar and then focus on it and be consistent every single day. Maybe it's 5 days a week. Now, sometimes we don't do things on Saturdays and Sundays. That's fine. But if it's Monday through Friday, make sure you do it every Monday through Friday and hold yourself accountable to that. Accountability is just you taking ownership of what you say you're going to do. So just like my morning routine, I took ownership, and now 3 years later, I couldn't imagine not getting up at 4 in the morning and going to bed at 8:45. And I know it seems like that's kind of a little bit crazy for people. But anyway, so identify that outcome goal, identify those 3 process goals, focus on the process, and use the power of consistency to create momentum. Go out and have a great day today, guys. Thank you.